All right, hello and welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging and Friends. We are back to playing Holler tonight for Savage Worlds. We're continuing the Blasted Beauty plot point campaign, the campaign that's in the actual main core book there. We are getting very, very, very near the end. There is a decent possibility we finish Act 8 tonight, and which means we will only have just 2 acts left, and then we're at the end. And Act 10 is something. It's like a whole different thing. So it's pretty great. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, we had a huge, like the last session was just one giant fight. That was pretty much the whole thing. It was like 2 hours of us fighting. And this time around, it's going to be about an hour and a half, I think, of us fighting. So it should be great. That's going to slowly whittle it down. That's about it.
We did all live. So there was that.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm not happy about that, to be honest. Like, it would be nice if I could have taken at least one of you down, especially someone not named Dog Blank, because that's all I have, it's just the 2 dogs.
Dog,
yeah, just a dog family. And I don't feel good about killing a dog family. That's not right.
I mean, you've come really close.
I've come very close a couple times.
Yeah,
so
quite close.
And you all are bleeding pretty profusely right now. I think everyone has at least 1 wound. A couple of you have, I think half the party's got 2 wounds. There's some fatigue going around. So you guys are, you guys are in some rough shape. And I still got 1 guy alive. He could just turn the tables and just start firing, but we'll see.
We haven't even
all
seen
his dice
final
explode.
form.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like he was just like, we were just the Outriders. We got a whole other crew coming down. There's like 20 more of us. But let's I don't know, you want to just dive in? Let's just dive right in. So last time around, you all were headed to Fayfall, if you recall. Fayfall being on the kind of far west southwest side of the Holler. It is the home of the Fae, hence the Fae. You're heading there to speak with the Fae Queen, as you were kind of tasked with it from Lester Paulson, one of the primary religious leaders of the Piney Dirge Plateau, and this guy who has foreseen this premonition of the riders, of you all like battling them and sort of leading the Holler to freedom, like getting rid of the big boys, so to speak. And so he had this vision of this. He gave you these fancy horses. You went to the Hollow Oak. You met a pixie named Polly. You gained some knowledge, some little bit of an into the Fayfall. And then as you were traveling there last time, the Riders of Industry, this like legendary bit of folklore, something that is sort of many of the Holler folks, they think that this is why the Blight exists. This is why this is here. But you all fought them, literally fought them. They were wielding all sorts of advanced science and tech, stuff from the city. They were using the Blight itself as a weapon. You all split up into 2 different groups. Amian and Cletus and Double D were trying to ambush on top of the hill. The rest of you were in this gully, hiding in a cleft. And the fight did go back and forth. There were they got a couple good hits off, but you did manage to take most of them out, including their poor horses, which was very sad. And yeah, well, we're going to pick up in the immediate aftermath. That was one of my favorite moments. I just really enjoy that. No. And poor horse begging for his life. No. Yeah. Please, no. Oh, God. I listened back to it and I cracked up for like 10 minutes today. All right, that's up there for me with a couple. We've had a couple fun moments, and that's Bananas is up there. I Am Your Dead Wife is up there, and now the dead dying horse trying to plead for its life. So let's pick up aftermath. We are back in we're back at the battle. So looking around, everyone is beaten up, bleeding. We're literally minutes after the battle has finished. Joe had the last of the riders dead to rights, but the guy did beg for mercy, and Joe actually gave it to him and put the gun down. You have one of these riders that is still living, slumped against the wall of this gully inside this cleft where some of you were hiding. There's a blight storm still kind of lingering on the horizon, but you don't know whether it's going to hit you or whether it's going to swing easternly into the Cussfoot Fens or not. But I'm just going to sort of look around. What are we doing? How do we want to handle this?
Hey, what do you guys got there? Tie him up. All right.
No tricks.
Easily enough.
I'm curious to know.
Yeah, you can tie him up. He's got, I can't remember if you took the gas mask off or not, but he's got the gas mask. They have these capes. You can see when you go over, they have some kind of like armored vest, it looks like. And you remember they were attacking you with swords. And they also, a few of them had those tubes. You've seen similar things before when you were at the Bonduran Asylum. And they sort of hurled almost concentrated blight, just to sort of exploded it in an AoE. You look at his, and most of them they're not like guns where you easily reload, but whatever, it's like a one-shot thing. So right now they're just metal tubes. But he is there, and you hear him as you're tying him up. He's got a voice. The voice is just, he sounds a little different than you all. He's muffled a little bit by the mask, but he's like, yeah, just mercy, guys, just mercy. And he doesn't have that sort of southern voice that you all have. So we'll say he's tied up at this point.
All right, then tie him up. Strip him on down. Take that to the mask off. He had a cape.
No, please, no, man, please. And he's like, as you take that, I don't wanna. Listen, hey, come on now. No, we could be friends here. There's no reason you gotta go and do something like that, man. Just put the mask back on. I don't. And he looks like genuinely terrified. I don't wanna. Oh God, come on, man.
Yeah, you don't want to be like us. Hey, he didn't want to have to do what we got to do. So yeah, take that mask off.
He doesn't sound like that because he's breathing the air. Some of us sound normal.
Yeah, man.
So you've got him tied up. He's taking his mask. I totally screwed up the accent. I was trying to do like a Louis Salvatore New Yorker one, but I went like surfer bro, like, and I couldn't get it back. It just kind of kept going off.
Too far.
I just couldn't get back.
Surfer bros now.
Louis,
hey, what you guys want to do is you got that cape. I do want to put it on.
Yeah, you take it, you put it on, and you feel the same, but you have a cape on now. That's the difference.
Got it. Cool. Look at this.
A little collar on it and everything.
I'd strike the post, but I'm just a floating head. It doesn't do much.
Yeah, that's fair.
Man, you're guaranteed to get wide when we meet the fate folk now. I know, 100%. Right?
I want to ask him, did you know we were here? Did you know we were like, why are you guys on our path?
Listen, man, I will answer anything that you want to know. You just got to promise that please just, can I have my mask? You give me my mask back and I will answer any question you want. Please. I
think maybe you got that backwards because it seems like that's real important to you. Which means maybe you should give us what we want before you get what you want.
You did kind of attack us, and we kicked your ass.
But
I killed your friends.
We were just doing what we were told to do. That's what we were doing. We weren't like, I don't know you guys. Like they told us there's some people coming down from the mountains. They're probably on horses, and that they're heading west, and we should get them. And we've been roaming around. It's not like we saw a bunch of people on horses. Like most of y'all on horses. We saw you.
Yeah, man, I hear you. You're just following orders. That means you ain't accountable for nothing.
Yeah,
I'm
you
curious
get it.
now. Joe wants to go remove the masks from all the dead ones.
I've already got them off.
You've already got them.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go. Okay, so while you're talking, I'm going to go examine a body.
Okay.
I'm going to go and just see if things were working like they're supposed to work. I might be doing a little bit of an autopsy.
Okay. All right. Are you just doing this to intimidate, or are you doing it because you're genuinely looking for something?
If it happens to intimidate, because I'm certainly not doing it quietly or stealthily.
Right. So I'll share with you the things that they have in terms of loot too. I don't think I showed you guys this. Basically, there's 4 short swords that's lootable and usable by you guys. 4 flak jackets of the apocalypse, which are also lootable and usable. They're only torso armor, but still, they're good. Then there's those, we'll call them blighters. Those are those tubes that some of them are firing the blight from. Again, they're not like guns. Like the science behind it is nothing like a gun. So it's like it's very, you're not sure how to get the load into it, but like it might have been a one-time deal. But if you start cutting up into one of them, sure, you start kind of cutting through the clothes. When you get down, you see guys got some tattoos here and there. You can see one of them. I don't know. Let's do a random roll because there's a couple different ones. Okay, so you got one that looks to have some red hair. Not quite like bright red, but definitely has a shade to it. Bulky, big dude, very very heavy, thick man. Definitely looks like a bodyguard or certainly an athlete of some kind. Couple tats here and there. But yeah, you start cutting into him the way you would normally cut into a person, and yeah, the blood comes out the way you would expect. Bones break as you might expect. Everything looks. He doesn't look like anything other than a human as you cut into him.
Just removing organs, laying them to the side. He's got a liver. Okay, yeah, he's got some lungs. Got 2 of them. Got a heart.
That's just him too. Like,
yeah, man.
That's not
that fella looks at people the same way you might look at a car, man.
They said you guys were crazy down here. They said you were filthy. They said you were no good. That we shouldn't show you mercy or empathy, and now this is what you do in the red. They were right.
And what are you? And you expect us to show you mercy and empathy?
Well, I mean, we didn't cut any of you all up. We fought you fair square, come on.
Yeah,
now.
It's funny though, but you got lots of friends that like to shove them little metal doodads into people's heads.
What the hell?
Turn them into zombies?
What are you talking about? Metal doodads in their heads? Zombies?
Yeah, you and your folks that you just take orders from. You take our people, you shove these real little metal things in their head, make them work for you.
All we got told is you folks were getting uppity, and you needed to show a force, and so we came, and that's what we're doing. I don't know nothing about putting things in people's heads. Come on.
Yeah, I don't figure you want to do that, but you all know why we're pissed at you.
Well, I didn't do that. I didn't do nothing like that. I did, and neither did Red. Red didn't do that, man.
Red stabbed me.
Yeah, he suffered enough. Don't you think he's dead?
So he's done suffering.
Look at it like this. I mean, all the things we're doing to you now ain't as bad as people that hired you to kill us did to us.
I mean, they said that you were, you were a bunch of, criminals, and you were, troublemakers, and you were just, you were causing all sorts of problems and things like that.
Oh,
and, you were violent.
That's why you killed 2 of my family members.
I didn't kill any of your family members. I didn't do nothing like that, man. I've barely been here that long. What are you talking about?
Here's the thing. That's why you don't wear the mask. You wear the mask, you're anonymous. I think that's the word.
No, you got to put the mask on. No. I don't want to inhale none of this stuff, man. I don't want to inhale none of this. Come on.
You think we do?
Well, I mean, you guys are inured to it or something because you've been breathing it all the time, I haven't even been here that long. Come on.
Luis has been going around from person to person, healing and healing and healing. And she's just going to kind of yell, "Where y'all say you're from again?"
From the city.
Which one?
I ain't never meet anybody from no city.
So you guys would know it's the city is that's what it is. There's not New York, Detroit, Chicago. It's just the city, right? And so in the Holler, you have towns, you have villages, that kind of stuff. But the city is essentially where the big boys effectively are from.
It's question though.
Yeah.
Can we get to the city, or is it something that we can't reach?
You can't reach it. Have no idea how to get there. Have no idea where it is, how to connect to it. The otherness, remember that thing that surrounds.
Yeah. So that is outside. The city is outside the otherness.
That's that. I mean, presumably.
Okay, so Joe will come back. He's just dragging that tank in that wand of goo.
Okay.
And he's covered in blood. He'll say, he's just any kind of man. Ain't nothing special about him. He got all his normal organs. He got his spleen, got his lungs, got his heart. It all looks normal in there, except for this piece of contraption here. I ain't sure how it works or anything, but if I heard right, you come from the city, mister. How did you get here? Do I need to go and take apart one of your horses to find out if there's something special about your horses too?
No, there's nothing. There's nothing special about the horses. They're good horses. They're just horses. They're animals. They're just animals. No, they brought us to the station, and then they got us. They taught us up, trained us how to use the gadgets, the gizmos, that sort of thing, and and then we kind of got blindfolded a bit here and there, and I don't really know every which way around, but yeah, like they, come to.
So you don't know how you got here either.
Yeah, and then you see panic starts to spread over. Like, wait, come to think of it. Oh man. No, I don't know how to get back now. Oh man.
After you done did the job, where your rendezvous?
Well, we're gonna go back. Probably down, to what's that town called with the Ash Down? One of the big guys. Probably down there, and maybe they could take us to something. I don't know.
They're probably just going to kill you after you're done. Honestly, I don't think there's any getting out of here.
Vinny was the one who knew everything, and he's laying over there with his teeth coming out of his freaking eyes. So I don't know.
Have you always lived in the city?
I've been here, there. I move around when I can, but yeah, it's nice. It's a nice place, Man, it's way nicer than this piece of shit place. I don't know how you guys live here. This is terrible. I almost actually feel bad for you all that you're here.
Well, this isn't our fault either.
Well, I'll tell you where I'm at. It's way better than this. We got big old buildings, skyscrapers, way higher than them. Whatever you got over there, we got cars everywhere. Horses? Who the hell rides horses anymore? We got.
What do you think we choose
kind of
to be here?
Skyscraper. What the hell does that even mean?
It's like a really big building that goes really high up into the sky, and you see it up there. And it just kind of keeps going, and you got floors on it. They're beautiful. City's got dozens of them, man. Dozens.
But James, Joe's kind of waving the nozzle kind of in his direction, and he's kind of tinkering around with the backpack going, so how does this thing work anyway?
Okay, well, see, that one I can tell you. I know how that one works. It's a one-shot deal. You see, they get a pack. The guys at the station, what they do is they load up the pack. I don't know what it is. It's some kind of gas. And it's supposed to make all yous kind of go a little nutsoid or whatever. And we just load it up, and then we just fire it like it's a grenade launcher or something. You just whoosh, whole thing just goes.
The hell?
You see no problem with that?
It's like an explosive. It's like you guys got dynamite and stuff here, right?
Okay, yeah.
Sort of like that, yeah. But you could put it in a thing and you can fire it, And that's what they did.
Because that poisoning people is cool.
Yeah, why? How do they justify how we live versus how you live? Why is it different for us?
I can't answer. I can answer the questions I can answer. I can't answer the questions that I can't answer. I am not in charge. I was hired here to go out and rough up a few folks who were doing some troublemaking and who were causing some problems for industry and whatnot. And that's what we were trying to do. It just enforces, we're enforcers. We heard, like I said, they told us all sorts of stories about you all, you're superstitious, you have all these weird beliefs and things. You don't even know, what's right and what's wrong. You eat your children or something. I don't know. It's just a bunch of weird things. But hey, I have clearly been misled, as he stares over at Joe in the body at Joe's feet with the various organs that have been removed. You all are clearly a very kind and sympathetic people.
Mr.
We might not be the best representatives, but not everyone here is bad.
I would venture to say most people here aren't bad, but if you get a sense of the conditions that we've been living in, perhaps you might have an inkling of understanding as to why some of us might be labeled as troublemakers to try to bring a little bit better working conditions and living conditions around here.
Absolutely, ma'am. You are 100% correct. Consider my eyes wide open. absolutely. And I tell you, you let me go, and I'm gonna find my way back. It's and I will explain to them. I will speak on your behalf to those who sent me here and who have nefarious ideas as to what your lives should be, and I will do what I can, to represent you. You all, just like the folks in the city, you've got inalienable rights, and I will represent those as best as I can. If
I have no idea what words you just said.
Yeah.
I don't even know what
But
that
you know
means.
what? I'm not a big fan of killing somebody when they're already down. But like, maybe we meet them halfway. We strip him down to his skivvies. And then, we make do with next to nothing. So, we'll leave him in his skivvies and, see if he makes his way.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. That seems I can understand where you're coming from with that philosophy. But I would try to appeal to your kinder natures, of which clearly you have far kinder ones than we were led to believe. We were misled, and I apologize. But maybe, you know what? Can I just keep my pants? Maybe the gas mask and maybe one of the horses, and then I'll get out of your way. And no harm, no foul. I will say nothing but kind things about you.
So you referenced that one over there as red. What was your is that a designation or a name?
Oh yeah, that one's red, and he points at the one that is covered in red because Joe has dissected him. That one over there, that's Vinny. I'm Bumsy. That's what they call me. They call me Bumsy. And that guy over there, the deacon. I don't think he's actually a deacon though. I think he's a cop, to be honest. But I don't know why they call him. I'm not really sure. I never really saw him praying or anything either. So it's just. I don't know. We didn't really know each other before we got recruited, so. I don't know.
So what did you do, like, for a living? Like, what do you do?
Oh, a little of this, odd jobs and the like. I worked at a grocery. Sure, worked at a grocery. I packed food in bags for kind old ladies like yourself, and that sort of thing. I did absolutely nothing, nothing untoward. I promise.
I mean, I feel like he's made it perfectly clear. He's got next to nothing to give us or knowledge that we need.
Insight that.
Oh yeah, go right ahead.
good thinking there, Amian.
Go right ahead.
What'd that be?
It's probably
notice.
Yeah, notice is fine. You can do notice.
Okay.
Always takes me a couple rolls to remember.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I'm very fatigued.
Still a 4 is good. A 4 is a pass, so you're good there. No, he is lying. He is definitely lying about what he does for a living. Like, you can tell, like, he wasn't necessarily lying about anything before that. Like, everything you've been getting, he's been mostly on the up and up, it seems like. But when she asked him when Luis asked him what he did, he definitely lied, like, easily about what he does.
There's no such thing as a grocery store. What did you really do?
Well, I know you all don't have groceries, but you have like markets and things like that. You got those stores, and so it's kind of like that, except they're focused on, vegetables and fruits and canned goods and the like. We got plenty of fruit and food in this city, so you'd be surprised.
Amian, are you saying he's lying to us, Amian?
Yeah. He's not.
Okay.
That's not what he did.
I mean, come on. You don't
I'll
go
drop
to
the stuff
person.
and I'll take that knife that I cut his friend up with and said, Mister.
Okay. I killed people. That's what I did. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I killed people for money, but they were bad people. I promise you. Every one of them was bad.
Like we're bad people?
Funny how it works out.
No, like really, like they were the type of people who killed people. So
Gotcha.
Oh, goodness.
On a scale of like, y'all have 7 days in a week, right? Where you're from in the city?
Yeah,
How many
Monday,
days out of the week do you normally go
Wednesday.
around stabbing children?
Oh no!
On a scale of 1 to 7, how many days a week you go
Absolutely
killing children?
not.
Like Amian over there.
No children. Absolutely not. No, we got a code. My capo would absolutely rip my ass off if any of us killed children. I promise.
It's funny you say that because I lost one of my ass cheeks, and I can show you the stab wound on my little brother right there. So I think I'm going to take you up on that.
It's
We're going to
still
give you
bleeding.
your pants after I chop off one of your ass cheeks.
You want to chop off one of my ass cheeks?
Got one of the short swords.
What-
Is there anything I can do to dissuade you from this action?
What are we going to accomplish with that there?
I
Brother
don't know,
Cletus?
man. He just talks all these big fancy words, and I know he's just going around in circles, and I'm frustrated. And he did stab Amian. I don't know if you did or not because you're wearing the damn mask. I don't know who did what.
No, it was
I agree. He does
definitely
speak
not
a lot
me.
of untruths.
I did not attack this poor young child here.
Can I try to remember who did it?
Sure. Yeah. Roll a I don't know, roll another notice then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll a luck test for this poor guy.
7.
High or low?
High.
Okay. You are sure he is not the one who stabbed you. You're pretty
Okay,
sure
I'm
the
gonna
one who
whisper
stabbed
that.
you is the one that Joe cut
Stabs
open.
back.
Yeah, I'm gonna whisper that to Cletus. Be like, I think it was that guy actually.
I suppose it ain't an ass cheek, but your friend done got enough cut out of him.
Yeah,
I don't know what
there's
else.
a real son of a bitch. He knew one of the folks. He worked for one of the families in years, so he knew a little bit more than the rest of us. So
I'm sorry. Did you say he worked for one of the families in here?
yeah, they called him like the Galloways or something like that. You ever heard of them? I don't know.
Sure have.
Have you ever heard of them?
Yeah, you have Galloway Mine. Remember when you guys did they're one of the big boy families.
Okay. Okay.
They're on Galloway and everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah, what's up? What you need there, big guy? Got questions I could answer for you.
no, I was going to tell everyone else. I say give him his pants, shoes, mask, and let him go.
I'm all right with that.
I say
No.
pants
I mean-
and shoes. Let's actually I say let's gas them.
Yep.
Pants
Nah.
and shoes and gas them.
Joe looks very confused and just says, "Why? He just told us he's a murderer. You think he's going to stop murdering?
Well, I
I
mean,
think it's just as kind to kill him now and save
I'm
whoever
not
he's
a
going to murder
murderer.
next."
I'm a contract killer, is what we call it, a hitman. All right. And
Yeah.
I'm hired sometimes to take out some bad folks. And they're always bad folks. Okay. We're never hired to kill a good person.
You can't say
'cause
never because you were just hired to kill us. So
Yeah.
we have just proven that never is not a word that can come out of your mouth in relation to your murdering ways.
I stand corrected. I must also say I feel great remorse for what has transpired here. And it has very much opened my eyes to the terrible choices and paths that I have gone down in my life. And I will tell you, in addition, absolutely, to singing your praises, I am a changed man. When I get back to the city, I will open a grocery store and I will make sure. Absolutely.
here's the thing. You hired to come kill us, right? But you didn't. You lost.
Amian, is he lying?
And he talked to us. So, I mean,
I'm
like,
sorry,
they're going to
again.
think we feel your head.
I'm pretty sure he
Thanks.
is even without a roll. But
Go ahead.
So, I mean, if you go back, he's just going to kill you. So, you want
Man, Joe,
us
I think you
now?
ought to just-
all
No,
right.
I think you ought
I
to
can't
test
roll
out
high
the
enough with this
equipment.
fatigue.
It's
Can I roll
hard to
notice?
tell, Amian. Very hard to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anyone wants to try to
Sorry,
figure
lied
out-
before.
I don't know. I'm going to let him go. I ain't see no point here.
I think he's got more to learn about how we live and what we're going
But-
through. He's got a
that's
pretty
why I
small
say-
sample size.
We already got him. It doesn't feel good to do more.
Yeah, man,
Doggins, I say Doggin, you would be able to tell he's not lying. He genuinely feels some remorse about what's going on. He feels bad. Part of it's a little, you think part of it might be fueled by just being terrified,
Fear.
but also there's
He got caught.
he got hung out to dry and lied to by the people who told him to come do a thing, and it was nothing like, they said. So he doesn't, it's one of those things where it's not a clear black and white thing here. Yeah.
Sure. I'd kind of lean towards, just because maybe he is a piece of shit and the people who hired are even shittier doesn't mean we have to be that shitty too.
I'm out.
So he's not lying.
What do you think is going to happen to you if you go back? Now that you know all of this.
That's an excellent question, young man. It's an excellent question.
Man.
I will say that I will tell them that they are wrong about yous, and that you all are good people, and that I refuse to continue in the position that I am. I will no longer be sent to this place to hurt you peoples, because that's hitting down, and I am not going to hit down.
Who just puts away his knife? Oh, it's settled then. His friends will kill him. We're done here.
Yeah.
Might we be able to
we have,
use him?
we've not made much progress trying to voice that sentiment to your employers before, and I don't think you will either.
That's fair. I understand, but I am what we call connected. In the city, I know some people, some very powerful people. Now, they are not necessarily the people who have come to this place and caused problems for yous, but they are people that carry, a bit of weight, and they can move it around, and they listen to me. And so, even if these big boys of yours are not going to listen to me, I think I can get their attention.
Well, you might be able to make it back home, and you may not be able to make it back home. You seem to think that you're a resourceful and smart man. So I would say, when you find out the truth of what we're telling you, and you can't leave, you find us. And you help the people that are here. Maybe you could pay back for some of the sinning you've done.
You know what? I appreciate the opportunity. I absolutely do. And I'm going to call that Plan B. So Plan A, I'm going to try to go right to the source. And I'm going to tell them how wrong they were. And I'm going to speak your praises. But if they shut me out, then absolutely, Plan B, I'm coming right back here. And there's going to be 7 of us in this here troublemaking crew, not 6.
Probably not like right back here, though. I won't be somewhere else by then.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Have
Is
you
there
ever
somewhere I should meet
voiced
you?
have you ever voiced any disagreements or anything like that before to anyone in power?
Or heard anybody else voice any disagreements with you or their people in charge?
Listen,
Have any precedent for how that's gonna go?
I am not going to lie to yous. I have not necessarily been the most aware of all of the inner workings of the organization and how it all works. It was a paycheck. But now that I've seen just the terrible squalor that all of yous have been forced to live in and the treatment by these people, well, now I'm going to start listening and I'm going to start talking on your behalf. Guaranteed.
Because, they know, and they don't seem to care. So,
I do have to agree with my young traveling companion there. It does not seem to be a lack of truth knowing that is fueling all of these
they
murders
blindfolded
and all of
you
this.
to come here. Isn't that
they know what they're doing. You might not have known, and I have to say I am so impressed with my traveling companions, because I was mighty afeared after everything that just happened, and I do have to admit that I had some murderous thoughts going through my head about what to do with you, and I am impressed with my traveling companions as they have not gone in that direction. But I am wondering if this approach you are recommending might just see to your untimely death, and then what good would you be to us then? I was wondering perhaps if you might be obliged to find a way to mark your path out of this here area, that we might be able to pick up on the breadcrumbs, as it were, and find our own way.
That's smart.
You want me to lead you back to them, is what you're saying.
Well, I mean, we got a place we got to go to and whatnot, but like, maybe you could, like, I don't know, like break branches in a certain way. I don't know. One of you folks that saw woods, you would know better than me how you arrange that. But
well, I can tell you where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go right down to that city in the middle of them hills, and I'm gonna go right up to the gate of Mr. Ashdown. I'm gonna ring that bell, and I'm gonna say, "Hey, Bumpsy Malone is here to talk," and I'm gonna tell you that gate's gonna open for me. I promise. Okay.
I mean, I think half the fun of letting you go is to see how that turns out. I'm gonna be honest. I got a feeling they're just gonna kill you, and I'm maybe they won't. But all right.
More dangerous people have tried, my new friend. Can I call you friend? Are we friends now? We've bonded, right?
He's so straightforward with this that I like him, so I don't want him to die.
Listen, you all clearly have other important things to do. Why don't I just take my pants, take my gas mask? You know what? Keep my sword. It's fine. Just keep it. It's yours. Spoils of war, right? And I'm just
He's
gonna
pretty
wander
determined,
off.
guys. I think we gotta let him.
What do you say?
I mean, we could, but I believe that Mr. Doggett, is there any one of your concoctions that perhaps might be something that as our friend is making his way out of Ashdown back to the outskirts, that perhaps you might have a drink or something that you make that might have a particular scent that perhaps we might be able to find later?
Nothing quite like that, I'm afraid.
Can we say that you do?
Could just fart on him.
Hey, Doug, I'm gonna go get a horse ready for him. I got some like food stuff. I'll put some in the saddlebag.
Oh, it's very kind of you. Thank you very much, sir. I very much appreciate that.
Is there a way to let out this vest? It's a little on the tight side.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a little more svelte. I know the cape makes me look all billowing. They wanted us to look intimidating and everything. I'm a little more svelte. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure you could probably do, you just on the stitching on the sides there. I'm sure you just undo a few of those. Bob's your uncle. No problem. Okay.
No, Josephus is my uncle.
Oh, well, I look forward to meeting him. I'm sure he's a wonderful man.
No, he's dead. He was a terrible man.
I'm very sorry. And what a son of a bitch he is. And he spits.
That is very agreeable, probably in a concerning way, but
all right. So listen, I'm just gonna get out of his hairs now. Could someone undo my bindings, you think? Would that be all right? Would that be okay?
I'd do it.
Thank you very much there. It's very kind of you. Can I get one of the masks, you think?
Unless someone stops me, I'll toss him one.
Oh, you are just the nicest. Thank you very much. Well, all right then.
You know anything else about this gas, stuff that we're breathing?
They just told us that we don't want to breathe it. Bad things happen, is what they said. It's toxic, and if we breathe it, then we start dying and whatnot, and coughing, and lungs would bleed.
They
start
make
seeing
it, right?
things. Do they? Well, that is just absolutely terrifying and wrong. I am upset. I'm adding it to the list of complaints that I will launch on my return.
Luis is going to go over to this guy.
Yeah.
And she is going to kind of come up. She's an old lady. So she's going to come up and she's going to do the like hands on the cheeks kind of thing.
Yes.
Listen here, young man.
Yes, ma'am.
I genuinely hope that when you lay your head down on a pillow or whatever it is that you lay your head down upon, that you put some thought into the fact that you are begging for a mask so as to not breathe in the very stuff that has been pumped into this area for our parents and ourselves and our children to breathe for generations.
Luis, roll a persuasion test. And you know what? Take +2. Oh, God, I'm stuck in the voice now.
All right. Persuasion is not her best thing. So I saw some audience bits. So I'm going to take an upgrade out of that D6 into a D8
Right
and try to help here with this roll. How am I doing? What are my negatives right now?
You've got 2 wounds and 1 fatigue.
I rolled a 6. Is that still going to hold
That's
up?
still going to be, you're still going to be good because that'll take it down to a 3, but you get +2 from the speech and everything. So you're still at a 5.
Okay.
You see a little bit of tear start to water up. You're looking at him through the gas mask now, through the little kind of glass eyes, and you can see a little bit of tear kind of come up in his eye a bit. Yes, ma'am. I am a changed man. I promise you. You know, I have a grandmother. Remind me of her. You know, so if I, now that I think about it, anyone did to my grandmothers, that what they did to you, yeah, I'd probably be upset too. So
Luis is going to kind of pinch him on the arm a little bit and be like, you know what, sad son? I am nowhere near old enough to be your grandmother.
I meant mother. A sister? Sister.
And she'll just sort
We give
of
him a thumbs up like
pat him
you're
on the
doing
side of the
great.
head.
Granddaughter. All right, so he goes over to Double D, tries to take the reins from the horse. He's doing this very cautiously. Tries to take the reins from the horse.
Hey,
Climbs on.
Hello.
He starts riding away.
Bye.
Lies.
Hope we don't have to kill each other sometime later.
I hear that, friend. Absolutely. And then you see the horse is up on the ridge.
Good luck doing your thing, guy.
Hey, you stews. And then down he goes on the other side of the hill. No longer.
You know,
in
Double
sight.
D should have questioned his horse.
I thought about it. But horses are bastards. I don't like talking to them. If they had like goat, cat, squirrel, a bird, or a chicken, yep, my horse.
Man, I can't wait to get back to MacLeod. I really want to hear what Yedis has to say.
Yep.
All right. So let's do a quick. Let's just get into the mechanics here. Take care of your healing. I know, Louisa.
I did a bunch of rolls.
You did? Okay. So
I did.
Did you do healing cast or did you do the healing skill roll?
Rolls.
First?
I did rolls.
Okay.
So Double D, I rolled an 11. So I got a boost.
What do I mean?
So how many? So how many
2 wounds.
wounds? You have 2 wounds. Okay. For healing skill, 10 minutes per wound level of the patient, -1 penalty. The rolls without basic first aid, but you're fine. You're fine with it. Success removes 1 root. A raise removes 2. So it should be 2. Okay.
Nice.
For
next?
Doggin, I just rolled a straight 1 success.
Okay. 1 wound off of Doggin then.
That's all I needed.
So that's 30 minutes so far of time.
For Cletus, I rolled another 11, so that is a raise for Cletus as well.
So that's 20 more minutes. That puts up to 50 minutes. And Cletus, you get 2 wounds off. So you have basically 10 minutes left. So there's basically a golden hour rule. And that's like if you do it within, I'm not going to be too precise with it, as long as you're close enough to 60 minutes, that's fine with me. Who's next?
Character Joe, I rolled a 9, so that's raise.
It's a raise. So Joe can take 2 wounds back. I think he only had 1. I'll give you 1 more. As now we're over 60 minutes at this point. So do you want to heal yourself or do you want to heal the kid?
Amian, I rolled a 5, so just a 1 success.
Okay, so Amian's cleared up. So then in terms of healing skill, golden hour is over. So anybody who still has wounds, you can now use magical healing if you want. So if you have because you do have that too. So if you wanted to clean up whoever's got lingering stuff at this point is probably what you do that for.
My 2 wounds.
That 1 hour gets rid of 1 fatigue, right?
And it would get rid of 1 fatigue, yeah. So yeah, Louisa, you want to make your healing power cast to try to clear yourself of your wounds. It's fine.
Does anybody else need it first?
I think everyone's clear, actually. I think you just cleared the whole team.
Yep.
Oh, I did. I didn't actually look at people's sheets. I just rolled.
Okay. So how is your
All
roll?
Right. So I am doing healing, which means that I get to do it magically, which means I get to do it through faith, which is a d12. And I rolled a 10. So that would be an 8. So that's still a raise. Is that right?
Yeah. So
right.
you got your
So
2
it's
wounds
10.
would be an 8. So it'd be So it'd be 2 success. So it'd be a raise. Excuse me.
A raise, which means a raise removes 2.
Okay.
A success removes. So healing removes wounds less than an hour old. So it's still the magic hour, even for magic.
Really? Okay. Yeah. So it's per the rules of that power. So.
Yep.
Okay.
Which totally makes sense. She's hiding her wounds very well. So she went around, she healed everybody. And y'all just kind of see her after she heals everybody, just kind of collapse down, and you didn't necessarily notice. And I don't remember, but I'm just going to say,
look at the modifiers. You can do greater healing, which is plus 10, which can be used to restore any wound, including those more than an hour old. So if you spend 10 more power points, you can actually heal.
I don't have enough power points for that.
You can spend bennies to get back. Was it 5 power points per benny, I think? Is that right, Jeremy? I think.
Yeah, 5 benny or 5 power points for a benny.
Yeah. So you can burn those 2, and then you're up to heal. And we did it, I think, by the book at that point. Okay.
All right.
So everyone's up. Everyone's healed. We'll say the storm at this point has kind of passed by. It's skirted the edge of where you've been in this little gully, this cleft. The guy that you were interrogating has been gone now for 20 minutes, half an hour. You've got a couple of their items. Your horses, you could probably round up. A few of you got off and kind of slapped them, and they ran off for a bit, but you could probably go find and fetch them. What do you guys want to do?
We get a horse and get on to the place.
We got places to be.
Indeed, we do.
Okay.
That was. I'm quite thankful that we are all together to continue on this route. I was very frightened there for a period of time.
I don't know if all the black vests are claimed, but I cannot actually look at them.
Oh, okay. Let me check permissions on them. I'll figure it out for you.
I will not take one of those.
I want one of the short swords.
Those you should be able to grab those. The flak jacket stuff I might have not put in, but the short sword should be available. I'll get it for you later, Dan.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Might be an upgrade to my bulletproof vest.
Joe's
Might
going to
be.
keep one of them backpack things. Might work on that a little bit.
Sounds good. Okay. So you guys get back on your horses. You start traveling. So this all happened probably just east of Saxon in the Hogback Hills. You kind of were just coming down from Middenville, from the Sootstone Mountains. You kind of skirt over the Hogback Hills for the next couple of hours. You can see the storm continues off into the fens off to the east. You can see the sort of the textile mills of Ashdown to the north of you, and you're kind of just heading in the direction of Orchard Lake, of the Wild Eddy River, is sort of the most direct path. And I'll say that I already pre-rolled this, but most of the rest of the way is relatively uneventful. You can tell more than once you kind of have to hold up as you see maybe a group of folk or such kind of passing in the distance, but after a couple of minutes you realize it was just regular folk, or it was just just an animal or two, something like that. Nothing that really would cause too much trouble for you all. But eventually you do make your way to Orchard Lake. If anybody would like to roll a folklore about the Fayfall or about Orchard Lake or anything like that, you can do so now. And I might be able to give you a little backstory, some lore, if you would like to do it.
Now that I'm not as fatigued, I'll go ahead and roll it unskilled.
Let's see. Folklore. Do not have it. But you know what?
That's a 1.
Oh boy. That's
I
not
got a
good.
7.
Oh, I saw the
wow.
double ones. I thought that was mine for a second.
What a fay? What's that again? Where are we going? We're going to the city, right?
I'll say critical fail. I don't know. Maybe the horse is just you're trying, like, you guys are having a conversation, throwing ideas around, trying to remember what you know of the Fae, making sure you act right, making sure you take the right routes, the easiest routes, that sort of thing. And maybe Joe gets kicked off the horse at some point. So just take like a fatigue. Maybe it's just a little bit busier. Nothing.
I was showing the horse the blueprints of how I can improve it.
So horse is like, nah.
So ridiculous. Okay. So, all right. So we get a couple passes, I think. Anyone get any raises? All right. So it looks like Amian and Cletus, even unskilled Cletus.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys would know a few things. Obviously, like, there's the Fayfall is a place that you've heard multiple times. You kind of don't really go. Humans don't really venture there. There's a couple, there's different stories here and there of bad things happening. But Orchard Lake in particular, as we start to arrive, you can see the Wild Eddy River is starting to weave down from the north and from the western hills of Hogback. It's very dirty, and you can see it kind of starts emptying into this lake at the foot of Fayfall. And you can see that there's blight in the river. Absolutely. You can see it all throughout that northern stretch of the river, the western side of the Hogbacks. But as it feeds into the lake, you can see that there's these rows of enormous trees that are literally rising up from beneath the lake. And so they're breaking through the surface, and they're starting to tower over the lake itself by about 30 feet or so. And you can see that there are these bright red apples that are hanging from the tree. There's large as melons. They're enormous, the biggest pieces of fruit probably all of you have ever seen. And you can see that across the river, the sun is shining. And not only is it shining, but it's bright. And there's verdant hills, and there is not a blight cloud in sight. Like, it's just this very clear line of demarcation. The dark waters of the Wild Eddy, you can see as they're swirling down, they kind of calm once they reach the lake itself. And you can see this almost crystal piercing view of the water. Now, Cletus and Amian, since both of you succeeded on this, like, you're looking around, some folks probably see these wildflowers stretching out in these different directions, pink and yellow, and you all hear like this little buzz, these insects, and you can see zooming throughout the trees, like weaving in and out, stopping over some of these wildflowers, but more clearly, whenever any of the water, the dirty blight water, comes in contact with the lake, you see these little poofs of gas kind of just come up from the surface, like these little gas clouds. And that's when one of those creatures zips over and just And just like in Hollow Oak, it's a scrummy. And so you see them get a little bigger and a little bigger. They're not much bigger than a dragonfly, maybe 2, 3, 4 size. But if you look really close, you can see, for those of you with good notice skills, they actually have very detailed, very fine human faces. They don't seem to really interrupt with you too much here and there. However, both Cletus and Amian would know that trying to take that fruit, trying to really kind of break some of that, some of the peacefulness, some of the job of the scrummy would be very, very bad potentially. Like it's like a forbidden fruit kind of thing. And maybe there's some folks who live in Hogback Hills, like there's dares that some kids try to do here and there about run out and grab one and come back. And sometimes it goes well. Sometimes the kid isn't seen for 15 years. You know, it's just kind of one of those two types of things. So the two of you would know that that's kind of it's a potential danger.
Is there any benefit to those fruit or anything? Or is it just...
other than they just taste more delicious and than anything you've ever eaten from any of the company stores that have grown out of any of the ground all around the Holler in any of the other places.
Well, I am majorly curious as to what that would taste like.
Well, if you would
what
like
are you thinking
to
there?
devise a plan, you're welcome to do so.
Maybe something on the way out.
You know, if we're good boys, maybe they'll just give us some.
Look good.
I'll keep
If
it
not,
in the back of my mind.
So we're leaving the fruit here, and we're moving along. Cletus, you look like you were deep in thought there.
No, I really want to eat one of those. I
And
think
you're not
there's
because
most of my thoughts are only like about 1/4 inch deep. You could basically dip your toes in the waters of my thoughts.
I could take my walking stick and I could knock one down for you.
No, don't do that. That's not a good
yeah.
idea.
Oh, okay.
Bad omen.
You must know something about these. I don't know. Okay.
I had a friend named Jimmy once, and I taunted him and said he couldn't get one. And he said, "Yes, I can." I said, "No, you can't." I ain't never seen Jimmy again.
Oh, okay. Well, then we should just get moving along here. And I like that idea that maybe if we do well, we can be gifted some of these.
Be pretty cool. I do want to try one. I want to drink some of that water. I'm not sure if you can drink the water or not. It looks real nice.
Does.
Maybe we should ask if we can first.
This is just like along the road.
You need to cross over the river or the lake if you choose. The river coming down the Wild Eddy River. It's like it's not like trying to cross Big Sandy. It's like there are rushing waters, but it's not nearly as deep. It is kind of blight infested until it hits the lake, and that's when the scrummies seem to swoop down and get it as the blight water meets the lake. Mm-hmm. The gases, the toxic fumes come up. So it's not hard to get across. This doesn't even require a roll to get across this river, like Big Sandy would.
And so is this Orchid Lake?
Yeah, this is Orchid Lake. So if you want to take a look at the main map, I'll bring you all over really fast. I'll show the stream too. So we are to the west. So we are down kind of southwest of the Hogback Hills, which is sort of like the main starting ground. And so Orchard Lake is right there. And so you're on the eastern side of it. You just need to cross over, sneak into the Fayfall at some point, and see if you can find.
How far do we think it's going to be before we make it to like the Fayfall? Like another few days, a few hours?
Crossing over this, you're in the Fayfall. Like you're literally, this is sort of the demarcation line here. So if you're crossing over this water, you're effectively in the Fayfall. It's just a question of finding the Fay Queen at that point.
So can I just hack up my skirts and move this along? Or is that a little more complicated than that?
If you just want to walk across, yeah, I'm not stopping.
That's what Luis is doing. she's hiking up her skirt, and she's got him in one hand, she's got her walking stick in the other, and she's just moving along.
Okay.
I go eat. I carry
go ahead.
Cletus.
See,
Where
like
do you-
up on your shoulders.
He sure is.
Man, if we are going to try and meet up with the queen or some such, I'll make sure once we get to where there's some clean water, I'll just kind of toss some of that up under my pits. Kind of scrub a little bit.
Give it a little splash down there.
And Scrobies, come take that funk right out your pits.
Are there any like
Man, that's
fallen
an
trees
experiment
or
that
any
needs to happen.
debris or anything that's stretching across the river that I can see?
Not really. There's a lot of pollution coming down from the north. Nothing particularly large. Mostly it's just dirt and grime and all the toxicity of the blight. But there's not like there's a ton of debris moving through here. Again,
So
it's not hard
is
to
the
go
water, like-
across.
Is the water clear enough that we can see like how deep it is?
By the lake, yeah, but the river is much darker. Like you can see, it's not until it hits that lake that you see the gases kind of start to clean itself from it, pop up, and the scrummies come down. So, but it's a very stark. It's extremely. It's it's one side is beautiful and verdant and green, and the other side is the usual dark, grimy, constantly overcast sun, like blotted out almost by the clouds above. And it is as stark as can be. There's no gradual movement of this at all.
Elaborated to go on to the other side. It was nice to know y'all. I assume this is heaven and we're dying.
All right, man. Let's break on through to the other side. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. You all move across. Do you take the horses with you, I'm presuming, unless you say otherwise? I assume you're leading them across or riding them across. It's fine.
Yeah.
So as you get across, and none of the scrummies, since no one specifically went for none of you went for
Forbidden
the fruit. Yeah, the scrummies leave you be. A few of them come up and like a hummingbird hover for a second, look at you, and then zoop, dart away. They give you like you can see the little tiny faces in front.
Did it say anything?
No, it did not. Just zoop, and then zipped away.
How close to a mealtime is it?
What do you mean mealtime?
Like like lunch or dinner time?
So I would say you guys are probably pushing nighttime in the Holler time at least, but Fayfall seems to be different. But it would probably be getting close to supper time for you all.
I'm pretty hungry. I really want to know what this tastes like.
Well, what I'm going to do,
I think Amian's going to go for one.
Okay, so what I would like to do actually, as you enter in, we're going to do a little quick encounter. Everyone's going to roll something and say what their character is doing as you're crossing over into the Fayfall. And this might be the first time any of you have ever visited or seen the Fayfall. If you've been here before, that's fine too. So just everyone tell me something you're doing as you're seeing, the brightest green grass and trees that you've ever seen. You can see clear sky, the sun, everything is absolutely beautiful. So everyone just tell me something you're doing. Roll a check, and we'll just sort of play out the quick encounter. So, Amian, you're trying to steal the fruit.
Yeah, I feel like I'd get across. I'd be a little bit distracted by how nice it looks, and like pick up a blade of grass here and there, and then I'd just be really focused on that fruit. I'm like, I gotta know what it tastes like.
I think a stealth test would probably make the most sense, unless there's some other idea you had.
Stealth probably. He'd be trying to be like sneaky about it.
All right.
I want to take an audience boost on it.
Got it.
How we doing on those? Melissa, do we have a lot of those? I know I cleaned you guys out and wondering. Have I cleaned you out yet in Holler?
No. We dip very slightly and we get quickly refilled again.
I'm betting it. Oh, there we go.
7 was good. 7 was a pass, but okay, I'll take it. I'll take the Benny. Thank you. So yeah, everyone's moving across. A few times, a couple of those scrummies gonna get in the face.
I want to try and get 2, one for Cletus.
I'll tell you what, with the raise, since you went for the raise, we'll say you do get 2. You get across. So everyone's moving across, and you see Double D and Louisa and Joe and Doggin, maybe even Cletus himself. Like they're getting these scrummies are like checking. They're like moving up, getting in their face, zipping around here and there, almost like they're just these really like 4 times the size of a lightning bug or a dragonfly. That's how big they are with these tiny little faces. None of them really. They don't really stay long. They're all moving quickly. They sort of hover for a moment like a hummingbird and then shift away. And they almost seem to escort everyone across that portion where the river meets the lake. And while so many of them seem to be distracted with your party, Amian, you very carefully turn the horse, and as you know, kind of keeping your eye at them, you just sort of reach up and just pluck one down really fast, tuck it underneath you, like maybe your shirt or in a pack, and reach up, grab another one really fast. After the first one, you can tell one of the bugs that was, or one of the scrummies that was right on Double D turns really fast and looks like it's about to come at you. But when it looks over, you're innocent as can be. Like you had hit it, everything's fine. And it turns back around. And after a couple of minutes of crossing, yeah, you make it across. You're clear of the water, and you have 2 massive melon-sized apples. One for you, one for Cletus.
Oh, yeah. We'll wait till we're not getting bombarded and we're all kind of out of it, and then I'll share it.
Okay. Who else? Again, I just want to kind of get an idea of like your first impression or what you're doing, what your character is doing as like you're venturing into the most beautiful and the cleanest place you've ever seen in your life. What are you doing as you cross? Like, what is it that you're actually doing?
It's like when we get to the lake, it gets a little bit deeper, right?
It does a little bit, yeah.
It's nice, clear water, and we still got a little bit of sunlight coming down.
From the Fayfall side, absolutely.
Just kind of want to swim down, kind of get deep enough in the water where it just kind of feels surrounded by water, just kind of floating. Just kind of look up and see how the sunlight comes through the top of the water, kind of get that pretty reflection, and just kind of have that nice moment of feeling kind of like weightless and floating and watching the sunshine come down through the clear water and just enjoy it for a second.
Roll an athletics test there as you dive down under the water. You can see the roots of the trees dip further down to the base of the lake, the bottom of the lake itself. You almost get cleaned in some way. You float back up to the top, turn around, and you just float on your back a bit. And with a 4, it's a success. You're there, eyes closed for a bit. Then you feel a little movement on your chest. When you open up, there's 3 scrummies sitting on your chest right now, and they all are staring at you with these tiny little human faces, and they don't look particularly pleased. They're just sort of giving you a very dirty look. What do you do?
I slowly and leisurely take my time doing some backstrokes to get to the shore. And I keep a dirty face right back at them the entire time.
Okay. So you keep them that kind of, dirty face the whole time as you're backstroking to shore. And as you're giving the dirty look, and as you can feel, as you do a backstroke, your hand kind of hit the bottom of the water and you can come back up to the lake. Now you realize you can start standing up. You feel just a little prick, like right underneath your pectorals. And you can see one of them has just now that you're looking at it, you think there's something sticking out, and you pull it out and you realize it's this tiny little dart that they just stuck you with and then flew off.
Did you just lick the end of the dart?
I did.
Did you really? Oh my God.
I got D4 smarts, man. I'm curious.
You would do that. Let me do a quick roll.
Okay, his blood made it in dirt.
What's your parry?
But let me get back to that.
Don't worry about it. It's not. I didn't roll high enough anyway. You look down and you realize it didn't break the skin. Like you realize that they might have just, whatever they did, they might have just did it to annoy you. But then as you and you put your tongue to it, and it's very small. Oh God, it tastes absolutely atrocious. You just licked a blight dart, like a little tiny dart filled with blight. I'm going to say because they didn't actually hit you, the concentration's not high enough to really affect you. But had they been able to break the skin, maybe. But you have a very horrible taste in your mouth for the next few minutes.
Now he's just at the side of the water, just like taking into.
Yep. Beautiful. All right. What is everybody else doing? Again, this could be at the water. It even could be further as you guys leave the water, as you're starting to explore, anything like that. Because you have to find the Fey Queen, presumably. So, like, it doesn't have to be by the river if you don't want. Just something your character is doing as they're traveling across Fayfall. You got something, Double D?
Yeah, I actually got 3 things. One, taking in all the sights. Look at that bleeding so good packaged grass over there. Look at that. You can go eat that. Look at that. Just take it in. Look at all the grass. Be excited for Cletus. 2, keep my hand on my pocket. That way I don't lose Paula's hair. That is important. And 3, just say hello every scrummy that comes up. Like, that's Scrummy. Double D. Hi. How's it going?
You, as every one of these scrummies come up and you say hello to them, you notice as like they have that same sort of dirty look on their face like they did with Cletus, like, and then you speak and you see their eyes kind of go a little bit wide, and they don't have that scrummy look on their face anymore, but instead they just go, and you see them grow just a little bit, as if the breath that you are expelling is of such foulness that it somehow seems to feed them. And they get a nice little smile that kind of comes up on the side of their mouths at that point.
It's a little rude. I brushed my teeth like 2 years ago. Don't give me that. Oh, God.
You just keep getting bigger and bigger. You know,
they
at a
look
certain
happy,
point
at
they
least.
burst. They do.
Oh, God.
They're eating. They're very happy. Yeah. And now all of a sudden they're starting to swarm around Double D. There's like 10 or 12 of them.
It's all around my mouth. They're like,
just getting bigger.
I panic, scream a little more. They get bigger.
Yeah. I love it. And you have Bleedus off eating grass, huh? Okay. So yeah, Bleedus is off. You look over, his tail is kind of going wild. He's probably never tasted grass so pure as he's chomping away, and nor has he ever chewed on anything so green, probably. But yeah, he's off. You see him wander a bit away from the river, find some place where there's a little bit bushier. Maybe there's actual bush itself, and he's eating the leaves off of it. And there he goes.
Nice.
All right. About the rest of you, what are you doing? First impressions, first thoughts, some action you take while you're here.
I think for Doggett, what finer water could there be to brew with?
Very interesting. So you want to try to take some of the water.
I do.
Okay. If you want to do this without drawing the attention, and obviously you're probably taking it from the lake, I would say this is probably a stealth test if you want to do this. Or thievery, I guess you could roll as well. One of those two if you would like. See how well this goes.
I do actually have stealth, so
okay,
give it a try.
Winner,
I don't
winner.
know that like trying to hide it's that important, but
okay.
Okay.
Well, you're
That's
as stealthy
right.
as stealthy can be. As you roll an 11, as your D4 exploded twice. Maybe you do this while Double D is feeding many of these scrummies a nice little appetizer.
Keeping them all occupied over there.
Yeah, and you're able to scoop up a cup, and we'll say you get a canteen or two worth of water, something you can make something very special with. Absolutely. Hopefully the canteen that you have is clean enough to get it. But yeah, it's definitely the cleanest water you've ever had. All right. Joe or Louisa, anything you two are doing as we cross over into the Fayfall?
Well, Joe is covered in dried blood. So as he crosses through the water, and since the horse threw him, he's just leading the horse. He'll let himself sink to the bottom, get a handful of sand, and kind of like use the grit to just clean himself. He's also got a thing about stone. So while he's down there, if he finds a nice round stone, river stone, he'll just kind of slide it into his pocket.
Okay. Roll a notice test. We'll see if you see anything down here worth sliding into your pocket. How about that? So maybe you and Cletus are both swimming at this point. 4 is good. Yeah, you do find something. You see a glint, something shiny. You see it's tucked underneath what looks like a gnarled root from one of these large apple trees. You swim down. You can still see the rays of the sun. Like it's that, it's that penetrating when it comes to the light. And you're able to reach down and you grab a smooth stone. It's a smooth river rock. You bring it up, and there's no breaks in it, no cracks in it. It's just this beautiful, smooth, marbled coloring that you have in your hand. It's about maybe the size of an egg.
Ma used to call these worry stones. You rub them when you're all worried and anxious, like calms you down a little bit.
Very nice.
It hurt like the Dickens when you stick them in a sling and knock somebody upside the head with one too.
That is true. And then finally, Louisa, first thing Louisa does is she starts traveling through the Faithful.
So Louisa is, she didn't kind of cross over on horseback, so she's definitely, kind of wet. And so she will try to find an area that's a little bit maybe behind a bush, but definitely still in the sunlight. And so she always has kind of like a vest on, kind of over, kind of her kind of sweater. And then she has kind of a double skirt thing going on. So she's going to kind of lay over the bush, kind of her, kind of wet clothes. And she is going to, she is old, ill, and frequently in pain. And so the sun feels wonderful. And so she is, and this is going to take a bit of time for her to do, but she's going to kind of get down, kind of like on her knees, and then kind of lay down and just really just almost meditating, just sort of taking in kind of the heat from the sun, and just trying to kind of get some rejuvenation back after, obviously she's numerically healed, but just, kind of from this big fight that just happened.
Okay, that's fine. I don't think any rolls really necessary for that one. The time you're laying down is fine. Maybe a short distance away, you hear the crunching of leaves as Cletus eats. You hear the sounds of everyone kind of sharing or showing what they found, the river rock, the melons, the melon-sized apples. And as you're laying there, taking the sun in, you suddenly feel, as maybe your eyes are closed for this, you feel the heat suddenly go away, and there's a darkness, and you open up your eyes and you see this cloud overhead. You think it's a cloud, but at the same, and it's just off to the west, but it's moving extraordinarily fast, and it's blocking out some of the sun. And as you're watching, it's quite literally moving faster than any cloud that you've ever seen. It's not the wind that's pushing it, just moving and moving. And then as it gets a little closer, go ahead and roll a notice test, Louisa.
Oh dear. All right, I'm gonna have 2 of those. I would like a boost to this, so that will be 8 and a 6. And that is a lolly on my 8, so I get to roll it again, and that's a 7, so that is a 15.
A 15. Okay, you see dozens and dozens of pixies, very much like, same sort of shape as Polly, the wings and everything, same size. And you also see one at the very front that looks very much like Polly. And as you're sitting up there staring, maybe everybody else kind of at this point sees it too. You look up and you hear it just like this loud flapping, as it's just all of these like pixie wings just going. Like one on their own is probably no sound at all, but a couple dozen together, you can hear this. And at the front, leading the charge, there's Polly, your old pal Polly. And it almost looks like it's like, is it like a greeting? Or is she coming here to say hello? Is this, are you in trouble? But as she does, you see this wry grin kind of come on her face as she looks at Double D. And then she just hurls something down. And then all of the other fairies start hurling it down. This bombardment happens where dozens and dozens of these little small bags of something just explode around all you on the ground. And you just see all this like sand and dust and fairy sprinkles just start wafting up into the air. Everybody go ahead and let's see. This is a roll spirit test. Let me see if I can pass on this. I'm sure I can pass. Okay, I can pass. Just a normal spirit test.
They're coming for us.
You got a 5.
Okay.
9.
Anyone fail?
Oh, God.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
no.
Why?
Cletus crit failed.
There's the hint.
Okay, I'm gonna tuck that one in my back pocket. I'm not gonna trigger it right now. I'm gonna keep that in my pocket.
Does that
for a
trigger
better
even
time.
on like spirit tests?
On
Any
anything.
double ones. If you're hinted,
Wow.
any double ones. And it's
Wow.
kind of random on what can happen to you.
Yeah,
It's a really fun disadvantage.
I'm keeping
it's-
that one in my back pocket. We're gonna do that at a different time. So
It's like playing a hero in Deadlands. You
Exactly.
just have this passenger that just
so the ground is just exploding with all sorts of dust, and everyone starts getting really drowsy, and you hear it just thump as you look over, and Cletus has just fallen face first, flat down into the grass, and you just hear, and drool begins to come out of his mouth. And as the Polly's army kind of flies by, they swing right past, and they get close enough to just whiz past your ears here and there, and you just hear her yell out like, welcome to Fayfall, weirdos. And then they just disappear and fly up into the sky, and off they go again.
Bye.
And Cletus is sleeping. The rest of you are drowsy. Oh gosh, but it's not so bad. However, when you look down at Cletus, you see that a few of them have landed, and they're like, scrounging through his packs really quick. And they look up at you, and they have this guilty look on their face, and then off they go. But they grab something, who knows what. And that is what you see.
Louisa hurriedly like puts her clothes back on and like it's like, oh goodness. Everybody okay?
Hey, Cletus done take a nap.
Try and slap him awake.
Yeah, we'll say you can slap him awake pretty quickly. It's fine. It doesn't take that long. And
Hey,
you'll be able to.
Listen, Amian, if you're going to slap him awake, one important thing you got to know, after you done wake up, you got to slap him again. Make sure to stay awake.
Okay. I'll do it again.
Okay.
Oh shit. I'm sorry, man. You don't slap me when I wake up, I slap you back. Double D, you
Damn
tell him to do that.
I did.
I'm-
So good. Every
Got me.
time.
He got me good.
So, Cletus, you stand up, you look around, you can feel like something's missing, and you're not quite sure what. Like something feels weird. And then you look down and you realize, where did your shoes go? Your boots are
I
missing.
knew it.
Okay. All right. Let's see how it is.
Do you lose your shoes in the river there, Cletus?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I had them when I.
Hey, it's probably my fault. I done taught him to take his shoes fun.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean,
They'd
All
probably
right.
take your shoes.
wait, Polly.
That was Polly.
Oh, hell, I was all tuckered out from swimming. I didn't even notice a thing.
Yeah. She was here to welcome us. Take your shoes.
Something
apparently.
like it, at least. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what was throwing all this stuff at us, but she did say welcome.
It's kind of like I mean, I ain't the smartest fella. I feel like the way that these pixies work is kind of like whenever you're in school time and you get that girl you like or something like that, and you kind of like punch them in the shoulder just a little bit. I think Polly's sweet on Double D here, so that's why she's getting them all to do that nonsense.
Could be.
We done established Double D. You got the Fey Funk.
Oh, many others.
I see a bunch of them scrummies done got fat and exploded to prove it.
They did. They was all over my business.
This place is just beautiful.
It is. Yeah. Well, at least soft grass I'm going to be walking on, so I don't be too upset about it.
Okay.
This is where I'll slip Cletus the fruit.
Big as your head.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry I slapped you.
I'll like clink it against it and like, for Jimmy.
All right. So at this point, you all have refreshed yourselves. Some of you have bathed in the beautiful, pristine waters of Orchard Lake. Some of you have stolen from Orchard Lake, eaten some fruits, lost some boots, bathed in the sun a bit. Double D's goat Bleedas has had a little bite to eat. But you all at this point probably need to start pushing further into Feyfall. Who would we say would probably be taking the lead on that? Kind of getting out in front, trying to travel, like looking like there. You don't really have any specific rules or someone that you're just here to talk to the Fey Queen. Like you have no real more direction than that. Polly did not stop to give you any more.
Well, she came from a direction, right? So maybe we just go that direction.
Absolutely. Okay. Doggett, you spoke up. Doggett,
I did.
Roll either a what's it called? A notice test or what's the other one? Survival? Is that what it's called? Yeah, survival. Either one of those.
I think I am better at notice. It's good enough. It's 4.
Okay. So we'll say you guys travel for maybe an hour and a half or so. You are periodically not harassed, but you can definitely tell more than once you are being observed. As you can see, various small pixies or scrummies off a stream, something like that, kind of weave past. You see shadows overhead, and you see something flying. You see something in the copses of trees that you weave yourselves between, kind of moving about. Like your presence here has not gone unnoticed, and I would say all of you, to some degree, can see that. However, one thing catches your attention at a certain point, Doggett, in a way that the others didn't. Like when you saw all these other creatures that kind of they hid. You know, everyone was kind of trying to be stealthy about their observations of you. But at a certain point, you look and you can see that there are somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe a dozen horses. These kind of white horses, a little blue. They're right up next to like there's this glade, and they're all kind of frolicking around here and there. It's a very mossy, lush forest that surrounds it. And you can see that there's a bit of a stream, a creek that kind of passes through it. And whereas so many other creatures, like they came up to you and they ran away, this as you're starting to pass through this glade, you can see they stop their little playful frolicking, and they all kind of turn in your direction. And a few of them, their heads kind of go down with a bit of of posturing.
Oh no. I think the horses might not like us. I was going to go send my horse to go play with them, but maybe not now.
And anybody who's got folklore, feel free to make a folklore test. And let me know how you do. And
10.
Okay, 10. Very good raise. Okay. So, sorry, I'm doing, just getting a couple handouts ready for you all. All right. So, Amian, as Doggett points out to the rest of you that, there's tons of them. Like, there's, again, about a dozen or so of these. And as you make the quip that you are going to send your horse to kind of go play around with them, that's when Amian, it dawns on you. You look around, you look at them. The coloration's a little different. Got red eyes. They've got this blue tint to them in a way that horses don't have that kind of coloring. They're by water. They seem very protective. And it dawns on you at some point, Amian, you might have heard the story or read it, or someone, maybe one of the bards that you met at the Weaver convention maybe mentioned it, of a creature called a Kelpie. And Kelpies, they're not horses necessarily, but they're fey creatures, and that they are very protective, usually of a particular area, usually a body of water, and anybody who misbehaves, traverses the water, comes too close, anything like that, they will drag you into that water and drown you. And you can see as you guys start to move in and you stop for a second to look, all of them stop as well. Their frolicking, their playfulness, and you can see they get their haunches kind of rise a bit. One or two of them lower their heads, and you can see they start moving their leg in the ground, kicking up dirt and grass. Joe, roll a notice test. Only Joe. All right, Joe rolled a 9. So Joe, they're horses. They're definitely got the shape of horses, but I'll tell you, there is something extraordinarily familiar about these horses to you, Joe. You look at one of them and the face it doesn't have the long face of a horse, like that kind of long snout. It's sort of shifted and contorted in such a way. The bones underneath the eye kind of go in one direction. There's a tuft of hair like over top of the mouth here and there. And then you look over at another and it almost looks like their mane is kind of combed over in such a way. And then you look at another one of them and it almost looks like they're missing a very specific frequency of teeth that you are very familiar with that frequency. And damn it, if it didn't look like some of those boys from County Hell that you were hanging out with at the Weaver Falls Fiddler Contest, they sure as hell look like, well, if they were horses, they would look like those horses. That's what they would look like.
So I'll just call out and say, hey, they ain't horses. Them some kind of shape-shifting stuff. No, they ain't horses. Be careful here. I recognize them as people.
Territorial at that.
I guess so, yeah.
Like their names?
Well, there's one way to tell for sure. I make sure they see me as I pull out a knife.
And you see all of them in unison take 3 steps back.
It's them.
How did they wind up here and horses?
And as you ask that question, Dan, or I should say Doggett, you guys hear a voice from the trees behind you. You hear, have you all come to help get your fellows here? Might be the Fey Queen will give them back if you play with me. And like you're looking around, like where the that voice come from? And you're like, over here, right here. And you see a figure that 2 of you have seen before, or something similar. Cletus and Double D, you see a figure fairly short, diminutive in some ways. Got some sort of fur, some brown, orange fur here and there. These red eyes, these tiny sharp teeth, big old claws, ears popping out. Looks different But Double D and Cletus, many weeks past, Double D, you came in contact with a creature. You grabbed it. You tried to capture it. This looks very much like that. It's not the same one. You can tell that other one had like this little bit of white over the ears, but this certainly looks like the same species. And you two would, I would say, at some point probably have learned this is Spriggan. And they step up. Oh, hello, hi. You're friends of those kelpies over there, huh?
Oh, hi, man. I don't recognize you, but I've seen one of your kid before. Hey, how you doing? You ain't gonna do no funny business on our brains, is you? Fair
Wait a
game,
second.
right?
Wait a second. Turn to the left, really. The fat one. Turn to the left. No, the other one.
Give me a second. Left. Okay.
I do it, but I turn to the right. Mistakenly.
I've heard about you two monsters you are. You terrified my sister, you did. Why would
Wait,
you
no,
do
my-
such a thing?
My
Wait.
brother thought he was getting wild.
He's trying to marry me. I didn't like it.
Marry you? My sister has standards. And you do not meet them. But...
I wasn't going to insult your sister. And I mean, she was nice enough, but like, I've spoken for her and she just didn't take no for an answer.
Okay, now listen. I'll put in a good word for you. With her.
With who?
But I'm terribly bored. If you play with me, maybe. No, you... Well, I suppose your friends are just going to stay as kelpies then.
Man, what kind of games you like?
Oh, arm wrestle?
Arm
You like
wrestle?
playing knivesy handsies?
Oh,
you
he's good at knives and handsies.
Do I
I
look
like
like
knives and
someone who
catches
wants to
more.
arm wrestle you? I don't want to touch you. Ugh, how do you not have more hair? Ugh.
May think she does protest too much.
She?
That's you can't do this, fella.
That is insulting.
I mean, you're just so, attractive. It's hard to tell one way or the other.
I'm gonna go catch him.
Going to catch me, are you?
Go ahead and roll an athletics test as you try to catch this little creature.
Yep.
Contested, of course. These lolly dice are so good.
They really are.
They're so good.
So
I see
jealous.
lolly all the time. It's insane. They're so. I'm pretty sure they weighted them. Cheated for me.
All the more reason I need some.
Right?
Same. Maybe I'd stand a chance.
Poor Dan.
Or maybe I'd ruin them for everyone.
10.
Okay. I rolled a 15.
How dare you?
You dive down to grab it, like to tackle it, and you just sort of slide across the ground a little bit. They hop on top of your head, do a little across your back, and then hop off.
Now, that's not the kind of game I want to play. Why is everything about muscles and... Don't you use your brains at all? Any of you?
Not too often, no.
Nah.
Well, I would imagine he doesn't have one. Look at him. Ugh.
He's got around something between his ears. He's got a little bit.
Hey, you can hear it if I do that. Come put your ear to my ear while I do this.
You call those ears? They're all rounded and furless. Oh, goodness. Oh, how can you stand it? Oh.
Easily. Well, what you game?
I'm going to tell you a little story. No, I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to ask you a question. And if you can answer the question, then maybe I will put in a good word for you with my sister. And I could see about talking to the Fey Queen about making sure your friends, these horses, are turned back into their normal shape. How about that?
All right, we just got to answer your question.
You have to answer them correctly, and you have to make me laugh, perhaps. So far, you've only tried to attack me, and that's not.
I did not.
good. I certainly
just wanna
wouldn't want
hug
the
you.
Fae Queen to hear about you assaulting one of her people.
Have you never heard of tag? It's a game.
She wouldn't like it. I got a question right.
Tag.
That is the
Okay.
question he got right.
I
That's
got it right.
Interesting.
He was trying to play a game.
Which one of you is the smartest here?
Neither.
No.
None of us.
Bleedus.
The goat.
So you see, the Spriggan wanders over towards the goat.
Yes, I could see how this one's probably the most intelligent, has the most fur. It seems the most well-behaved as well. Okay. Beg your pardon, sir. I have a riddle for you. Are you ready for it?
And you just see Bleedus is just kind of sitting there. He's got some tufts of grass and just. And so the Spriggan says,
What kind of horses have the smallest feet?
and Bleedus just bleats back.
That's
Well, he doesn't say anything back to him?
That's not an answer. What the? Your leader is very rude. Well, I would hate for the Fae Queen to hear that you people have attacked one of her constituents and been terribly rude.
Well, I already got your answer right.
Not the real question. What kind of horses have the smallest feet?
Wait, say that again with less intensity.
What kind of horses have the smallest feet?
Miniature horses.
Wait. That's actually sort of right. That's a good one. All right, now you tell me one.
All right.
Oh.
You do it.
Okay, I got it. So if a rooster lays an egg on the top of a house, which side does the egg roll down?
I don't know. The eastern side.
No, roosters don't lay eggs, you dumbass.
Tell me another. No, it's my turn. It's my turn. You, the one who looks like they're going to die soon.
As he points over at Louisa.
What has 4 legs and can see just as well from either end?
What has 4 legs and can see just as well from either end?
I asked you that question. Why are you asking it back?
And Louisa just looks over at Double D.
I know this one. Oh, that's a good one, too. Okay. He said table. I say a blind horse.
Wait. Well, that's sort of right, too. It's a horse with his eyes closed, but blind works, too. Okay, Mike, your turn. Tell me one.
Like that one better. Blind horse.
I like that.
Oh, I got a good one. Who's brown and sticky?
What's brown and sticky? What's brown and sticky? A tree with sap or something? What?
You got it. It's a stick.
Oh. My turn.
They'll be good at these.
Looks around.
Which one of you is the hairiest? No. Probably that one. No. Let's see.
Goes up to Amian, gets in Amian's face.
Down here. Come down. You're smaller than the rest of them.
Yeah, for now.
That's not my question. Okay, are you ready? Are you listening to me?
Yep.
Which side?
I
of
got
a
that one right.
horse- Quiet. which side of the horse has more hair?
The outside.
Well, that's right, too. You all are very good at this. Very good. Okay, now tell me another one. Another one. What are you,
I want to tell you another. My throat's real sore. I'm feeling a bit hoarse.
What do you feel that I was about? Okay. One more. And if you get this one right, well, the good words will be spread, and your friends that are horses will no longer be horses. What did the horse say when it fell?
I've fallen and I can't giddy up.
What is it? Well, that's right, too.
Life alert.
And you see,
I love you, Dan.
this brigand falls into the ground and starts rolling back and forth, just laughing and laughing and laughing for like a good 30 seconds, longer than probably is necessary. But at a certain point,
Yeah.
Well, you are far more entertaining than I thought you'd be. Well, okay. If you insist, I will tell the Fey Queen that she'll need to turn your Kelpie friends back into pink human whatever color you are friends. Is that right? Do we have a deal? Are you happy now?
I mean, don't forget. I mean, we're super happy. That was a great time. But don't forget, you did say you put in a good word with your sister.
I will tell her. The truth is, she doesn't really listen to me very much. She says I don't have much of a personality. Can you believe that?
No, man, you got like 2 spoonfuls of personality, as far as I'm concerned.
Spoonfuls?
I don't know, man. I was trying to think of a measurement.
Personality to spoons. That makes no sense. That's idiotic.
I mean, eating's real important to me, so spoons are important to me. So just
you eat spoons? What kind of monster are you?
He means you got
Who
2
eats
portions
spoons?
of smarts. That's what he means. Two portions, you see?
That I understand. Thank you. Oh, your eyes are weird.
he looks over at Joe as he says that.
Well, okay, I'm off to see the Fey Queen then, and I will go ahead and put in the word for you. Unless you
What's
wanted
your
to come.
name?
Me?
Yes, you.
names. That's right. Humans always want names. Sparky.
Louisa, nice to meet you.
I don't need your life stories. It's fine. You're old and near death. That one is fat and tries to tackle my family. That one's fat and tries to prevent the other fat one from tackling my family. And this one is good at riddles, and that one is smaller than the rest of you, and this one's eyes look like they want to kill me. That's all I need for distinguishing each of you.
wait a minute. If you know where the Fey Queen is, can we just walk along behind you?
I give you a piggyback ride.
Done.
He gives real good piggyback rides.
And he starts climbing up, like from the front side too. So just like grinding claws into your eyes, just getting all the way up.
I mean, you gotta get a sprig and grundle.
It doesn't smell bad as sisters, though. I'll take it.
So the Spriggan climbs on top. Sparky climbs on top.
Don't get too close to them. They'll probably drown you if you get too close. We caught them. Your friends weren't being particularly neighborly. They were running from some of your, what do you call them? Big boys or something. And they hid over here, but they started shooting scrummies out of the air. That is a big no-no, as the Fey Queen loves her scrummies, and you, unfortunately, didn't follow suit. You passed that test. See if you pass the others.
I start galloping.
Hey, giddy up.
So you guys, you see as Double D starts running, and he continues to hit Double D like,
Faster, faster. No, faster. That's slower. No, faster.
Oh, I'm getting out of breath. Hang on. Oh.
and eventually, you all, like Sparky kind of continues to direct you. He kind of reaches around, grabs onto your beard, and tugs on one side of your beard to direct you which way to go. Like it's the reins. But eventually, he leads you to a waterfall, and he kind of looks at you all at this point, and the waterfall is I would say, some of you might know this, the base of Foxfire Mountain. So if you look on the main map, it's the base of Foxfire Mountain. And he says,
This is where the Queen's court is today. It moves around quite a bit. Behind the waterfall. Mush, off, go.
I go. Ah!
and as you kind of push beyond, behind the waterfall, you enter this large cave. And as you do, you can see just opulence just begins to open up as you see these vibrant trumpeting blooms, these giant mushrooms that seem to serve as platforms. You see little other spriggans and creatures treating them like dining tables. They have little like kitchen sets sit on top of them here and there. You have these ornate beds with flowers. You hear this constant music, like sounds a little bit like wind chimes or these delicate strings that are plucking. You look around for a source and you don't quite see it. The cave is showered with a sparkling silvery light, and it feels really fairly surreal. You can see spriggans, and those of you who are up on your Fey lore, spriggans and sylvans and bodaks and pixies, all are like busying themselves here and there with various tasks. Some of them are dusting, some of them are sweeping, some of them are setting tables. They're pouring tea for what looks like invisible guests, and they're kind of holding it out on these little saucers and then placing it, and is having conversations here and there. A good 20 feet high in the center of the cave, you can see that there is a giant mushroom throne that is taller than all of you. If a few of you kind of got heads on tail, heads on shoulders, you wouldn't even be able to reach. And you can see that sitting atop this giant mushroom throne, so let me get this image settled for folks, is who you would presume to be the Fey Queen. You can see she is tall, much bigger than some of the other pixies that you've seen. You can see that she has this beautiful gown on, and she's currently talking to a variety of pixies and such, but you also notice that in attendant around her are about 20 human children. And as you walk in with her, I also show you, I have a close-up too of her. As you kind of come in and, oops, sorry. Let me get the Fey Queen one up. There we go. It's a close-up view. And as you come in, you hear or you feel like a scraping in the back of your neck, Double D, as the Spriggan is like down, and is trying to like get you to motion down a little bit further. And once they like hop off you, they sort of step out in front. You see the children. I said 20. I meant 4. There's like 4 human children that are tending to this Fey Queen. You hear the Spriggan like,
Your Majesty, I present to you 6 supplicants of the human variety. In all of their filth and bluster, they desire to speak with you, my queen, and to see the Kelpies transformed in their original, far be it lesser forms. I believe they have names and they try to give them to me, but their voices are very irritating and I did not listen when they gave them.
And you see her head just sort of turns. She looks fairly disinterested. And that's when you hear from a different corner where you see one of those smaller mushrooms set up with a few people sitting around drinking and eating pretend food. You hear a very familiar voice just suddenly shout out inexplicably out of nowhere, "I am your dead wife!" And you see this Tommyknocker hop up on top of this mushroom and he's like, "Ah!"
Does he still have the gun?
He's waving it around. Ah! Yes! And that's what we'll go ahead and end for tonight on that.
Oh my gosh.
I got who's who over here.
Yep.
So great.
Oh,
All
he's
right.
friggin'.
Got a who over here and a who over there.
I am your dead wife.
Stupid.
Oh my
I'm glad that
What
got
a
to
tone
come
setter.
back around.
I'm so
I
happy
know.
about that
The
too.
circle is complete.
I know, right? We can end. That's it for Holler, everybody. Well, everything.
Bye.
We're done. Oh, my
Perfection.
goodness. That's it. That's all we had to do. Oh man, I can't wait. Okay. I just read that was so early in the game. That was like the second session, I think, or something like that. Like, boy, was that a tone setter. Oh god. All right, you guys are in the court of the Fae Queen. We'll have a chat next time with her and see how that goes, and maybe even, but definitely finish Act 8. Maybe even move into Act 9 next time. So we're moving on. All right, why don't we do some closing plugs and we'll get on out of here. So, Chuck, lead us off. What's going on with the OK this week?
Yeah. On Wednesday over on Defenders of Cobalt, we're doing our Alien campaign, all for the Ishtar. There's a Jeff there and a Jeremy and a Dan and a Bert, along with the John. Friday over on DOK, John is running us through some more. Oh, I forget. What is it? Something ball theory. I forget. Universe ball theory. That's it. Where we're playing space lizards, stealing things.
That was Universe Ball Anthology or something like that.
Anthology. That's it.
Yeah.
Cool. And then Saturday during the day over on Grim and Perilous Plays, we've got some Tales from the Loop, and Dan, Melissa, and Jeff will be over there for that as well. Yeah.
Fantastic. Excellent. Let's see. Who is next? Jeremy, tell us about this Patreon.
Yeah, earn me some Patreon, comics, maps, tokens, other fun stuff. Check it out.
Perfect. And Bert, tell us about Steam Steal and Murder.
Well, we're playing something Tuesday night. Not sure what yet. Something at the 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern slot. Friday, we've got some BX Dungeons and Dragons. Saturday, we are on the official Goodman Games channel with some of the folks here, some of the great folks here, playing some Weird Frontiers, a horror western using the Dungeon Crawl classic system. Sunday, not sure yet. Something's going on Sunday.
Excellent. And then for us here at the Lollygaggers tomorrow night, Steven's going to be running more Forbidden Lands for us, threatening to kill us and failing, as he always does. But it was close. He kind of killed our boat, but not really. But can you really kill a boat? I don't really think
it's a
that.
boat.
Exactly. It was never alive to begin with, and he only half killed it, so whatever. But yeah, we'll be playing that. You can see me and Melissa in that and a few other favorites. Friday, we are doing a special one-shot as we're going to be playing some Black Sword Hack. You should be able to see Melissa. Jeremy's going to hop in for us, I think, on Friday as well, just for the one-shot there. And on Saturday, we're going to try to do some more Twilight Imperium as we started up Embers of the Imperium this past Saturday, Genesis system, giving that a try. And then next Monday, we will be doing some Call of Cthulhu again, as we're going to get back to Horror on the Orient Express. Last episode, we missed a holiday weekend, so we're going to be back to that. And in 2 weeks, we'll be back with more Holler. So thank you to everyone who hung out tonight. I really do appreciate it. Those of you that are watching this later on YouTube or on the Twitch VOD or something like that, or listening to it if we ever put these up in podcast form. Thank you very much. Players, thank you as well. It was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm going to rate someone. I'm going to rate some Happy Jacks. So follow the raid. Have a great rest of your night. We'll see you later this week. Bye-bye.
Bye.